Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. There are stories, powerful and inspiring, that have shaped our world, stories that have too often been left out of textbooks, hidden in the margins of history. Today we're diving deep into Black history, not just what has been taught to us, but the truths and legacies that need to be shared, honored, and celebrated. This isn't just about the past, it's about understanding how history shapes the present and how we carry those lessons into the future. What they didn't teach you in school, you need to know now. It's time for a powerful shift in perspective. So let's open our minds, broaden our hearts, and embrace the untold stories that will ignite a new flame of empowerment, courage, and pride. What if I told you that Black history is not just a story of struggle, but one of victory, invention, and resilience that changed the world in ways we rarely hear? What if the pages of history were not simply filled with tales of oppression, but with incredible triumphs that have shaped every aspect of our society today? What if I told you that you have the right, the duty to reclaim this history, to learn it in its full glory, and to let it fuel the path you walk today? We have been taught a version of Black history that is often incomplete, narrow and incomplete in its representation of the richness of the Black experience. But I'm here to tell you that there's so much more to discover. The history you've been taught, the stories of slavery, of segregation, of civil rights struggles, is important. But it is only a part of the narrative. There are layers of greatness, courage, and contribution that have been silenced. And it's time for us to speak up, to learn, and to celebrate the full scope of Black history. Let's start with the fact that Black excellence has been woven into the very fabric of our civilization. But we've all heard the famous names like Martin Luther King Jr. and Harriet Tubman, and rightfully so. But did you know that ancient African civilizations like those of Egypt and Nubia were pioneers in science, mathematics, and medicine long before the modern world began to rise? The pyramids of Giza, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, were built by African civilizations with knowledge in engineering and astronomy far ahead of their time. Let me tell you something you may not have been taught in school. Mansa Musa, the wealthiest king in history. When we think about wealth, names like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, or Bill Gates may come to mind as some of the richest individuals in modern history. However, if we go back in time to the 14th century, there is one figure who stands out as the wealthiest person to have ever lived: Mansa Musa. The emperor of the Mali Empire, Musa's riches were so vast and legendary that they continue to be a point of fascination for historians, economists, and scholars today. But Mansa Musa was not just known for his wealth. His legacy includes his transformative influence on the Mali Empire, his promotion of education and culture, and his global impact. Mansa Musa's rise to power. Mansa Musa, born around 1280, came to power in 1312 after the death of his predecessor, Abu Bakr I. The Mali Empire, located in West Africa, was already a prosperous empire due to its control over vital trade routes, particularly the trans-Saharan trade in gold, salt, and other valuable goods. However, Musa's leadership elevated the empire to unprecedented heights. Under Musa's rule, Mali became one of the richest and most influential empires in Africa, if not the world. Mali's wealth was primarily derived from its vast deposits of gold and salt. But it was Mansa Musa's shrewd economic policies, trade negotiations, and military conquests that consolidated the empire's power and prosperity. The pilgrimage to Mecca, a display of unimaginable wealth. One of the defining moments of Mansa Musa's reign was his pilgrimage to Mecca, Hajj, in 1324. The pilgrimage was not only a religious journey, but also a symbolic display of his immense wealth and influence. Mansa Musa didn't travel alone. He was accompanied by a massive entourage that included thousands of soldiers, officials, slaves, and camels. He is said to have brought with him a caravan that included over 100 camels, each carrying gold bars, and a number of servants and courtiers. The scale of Mansa Musa's generosity during the pilgrimage is legendary. As he traveled through cities like Cairo, he distributed vast amounts of gold to the local population, causing inflation in Egypt and altering the value of gold for years to come. In fact, some accounts state that he spent so much gold during his journey that it created an economic disruption, as the abundance of gold in Egypt caused its value to plummet. Yet this was not a mere display of excess. Mansa Musa's pilgrimage was also a diplomatic mission, as he established connections and fostered relationships with key leaders and scholars in the Islamic world, further elevating the reputation of Mali on the global stage. Cultural and educational flourishing under Mansa Musa. While Mansa Musa's wealth was evident, his legacy was also defined by his commitment to culture, education, and religion. Musa was a devout Muslim, and he sought to strengthen Islam's presence in the Mali Empire. His pilgrimage to Mecca itself was a demonstration of his religious devotion. Upon returning from his journey, Mansa Musa sponsored the construction of several mosques and madrasas, Islamic schools, including the famous Jingweber Mosque in Timbuktu. This mosque would go on to become one of the most important architectural feats in West Africa, representing both religious devotion and the cultural prosperity of the empire. Mansa Musa's patronage didn't stop at religious buildings. He also supported the creation of universities and libraries in the city of Timbuktu, making it a center of learning for Islamic scholars. Scholars from across the Muslim world traveled to Timbuktu to study, creating an intellectual hub that was renowned for its libraries filled with thousands of manuscripts on subjects such as astronomy, medicine, law, and history. The influence of this center of learning stretched beyond Africa, bringing Mali into the broader global conversation. Mansa Musa's influence on global trade and diplomacy. Mansa Musa's impact wasn't limited to his wealth or religious contributions. His rule transformed the Mali Empire into a hub of trade and diplomacy. Mali's gold reserves, which were abundant, were an essential part of the global economy during his reign. Along with gold, the Mali Empire also controlled other vital resources such as salt, which was an important commodity in both Africa and the Mediterranean world. Mansa Musa's wealth allowed him to establish strong relationships with trade partners and political leaders from the Arab world and Europe. His reign also brought greater attention to the city of Timbuktu, which became one of the most famous trade and cultural centers in the world. Timbuktu was a point where merchants from across Africa, the Middle East, and Europe converged to trade goods and ideas. Under Musa's leadership, Mali became not only a powerhouse of economic wealth, but also a critical link in the trans-Saharan trade routes, connecting Africa to Europe and Asia. The enduring legacy of Mansa Musa. The story of Mansa Musa has been clouded in legend and myth due to the sheer scale of his wealth and his larger-than-life reputation. His reign set the foundation for the continued dominance of the Mali Empire in the centuries that followed, though his empire eventually began to decline after his death in 1337. Nevertheless, his impact on African culture, Islamic scholarship, and global trade remains significant. Mansa Musa's wealth, while staggering, is only part of his legacy. His commitment to education, culture, and religious devotion, along with his global influence through trade and diplomacy, solidified him as one of the most important figures in history. He proved that wealth, when combined with wisdom and vision, can shape nations, enrich cultures, and leave a legacy that transcends time. In modern discussions about the richest people in history, Mansa Musa's name is often overlooked or underappreciated in Western narratives. However, his story is one that deserves to be told more widely, not only as a tale of unimaginable wealth, but also as a testament to the greatness of African civilizations and the leadership that shaped the course of global history. Black leaders who changed the course of history. Explore the lives and legacies of key black leaders such as Martin Luther King Jr., Harriet Tubman, Malcolm X, and other figures who shaped social justice movements. Throughout history, black leaders have played a pivotal role in shaping social justice movements, fighting against oppression, and advancing equality for all. These leaders, driven by an unyielding commitment to justice, have left indelible marks on society, revolutionizing political landscapes, advocating for human rights, and inspiring generations to come. Figures like Martin Luther King Jr., Harriet Tubman, and Malcolm X have become iconic for their relentless courage, vision, and sacrifice. However, there are many others whose contributions, often uncelebrated, have also profoundly impacted the fight for racial and social justice. Martin Luther King Jr., the champion of nonviolent protest. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is perhaps one of the most recognized figures in the history of the fight for civil rights in America. His leadership in the American civil rights movement made him a symbol of nonviolent resistance to racial segregation and injustice. King's advocacy for peaceful protests, inspired by Mahatma Gandhi and nonviolence, changed the course of history by challenging systemic racism through powerful, non-aggressive means. King's role in pivotal events, such as the Montgomery bus boycott, 1955 to 1956, and the March on Washington, 1963, brought attention to the systemic discrimination faced by African Americans in the United States. His iconic "I Have a Dream" speech, delivered on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, continues to resonate as a call for equality and freedom. Through his leadership, King pushed for major legislative changes, including the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Tragically, his life was cut short when he was assassinated in 1968, but his legacy continues to inspire movements for justice, equality, and peace worldwide. Harriet Tubman, the courageous conductor of the Underground Railroad. Harriet Tubman is another towering figure in Black history, whose courage and determination helped change the course of history. Born into slavery, Tubman escaped to freedom, but never forgot the plight of others still in bondage. Over the course of approximately 13 missions, Tubman became the most famous conductor on the Underground Railroad, a secret network of routes and safe houses that helped enslaved African Americans escape to freedom in the North and Canada. Her bravery in returning to the South repeatedly, risking her life to lead others to freedom, earned her the nickname Moses. Tubman also played a significant role during the Civil War, working as a spy, nurse, and scout for the Union Army, all while continuing her fight for freedom and equality. Her unwavering commitment to ending slavery and her tireless work as an abolitionist made her a defining figure in the history of American liberation. Malcolm X, the voice of Black empowerment and self-determination. Malcolm X was another Black leader who fundamentally changed the trajectory of the civil rights struggle, albeit in a different way than Dr. King. Whereas King promoted nonviolence and integration, Malcolm X initially advocated for Black self-determination, pride, and self-defense in the face of racial oppression. Born Malcolm Little, he became a powerful voice for the Nation of Islam in the 1950s and 1960s, where he called for Black people to reclaim their dignity and autonomy. His unapologetic stance on race and his call for Black empowerment resonated deeply with African Americans who were tired of the systemic injustice they faced. Malcolm X's fiery rhetoric, particularly his famous slogan, "By any means necessary," challenged the existing narrative of peaceful resistance and sparked debates about the methods used to achieve racial justice. After his pilgrimage to Mecca in 1964, however, Malcolm's views evolved. he began to embrace a more inclusive vision of equality, seeing Islam as a means of uniting people of different races. His assassination in 1965 silenced his voice, but not his impact, and his legacy continues to inspire those who fight for justice and equality. Other influential black leaders who changed history. While Dr. King Tubman and Malcolm X are perhaps the most well-known black leaders in history, many others have made significant contributions to the advancement of civil rights and social justice. Webby Du Bois, for instance, was a scholar, sociologist, and activist who co-founded the Nation for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP. Du Bois's scholarly work on race and his advocacy for higher education for African Americans were instrumental in shaping the intellectual foundation of the civil rights movement. Sojourner Truth, a former enslaved woman, became a powerful abolitionist and women's rights activist. Her famous speech, "Ain't I a Woman?" delivered at the 1851 Women's Rights Convention in Akron, Ohio, remains a landmark moment in the history of both the abolitionist and women's rights movements. Thurgood Marshall, the first African-American Supreme Court justice, also made significant strides toward racial equality. Before becoming a judge, Marshall was a lawyer who successfully argued Brown v. Board of Education, the landmark Supreme Court case that declared racial segregation in public schools unconstitutional. Fannie Lou Hamer, an activist and leader of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, fought for voting rights and equality, often putting herself at great personal risk. She was instrumental in organizing the Mississippi Freedom Summer and was a voice for disenfranchised black voters in the South. Legacy of black leadership and the ongoing fight for justice. The work of black leaders has undoubtedly shaped the trajectory of American society and has contributed to a global conversation on racial equality. These leaders pushed for change when the status quo was deeply entrenched in segregation, oppression, and systemic racism. Their achievements and sacrifices provided the foundation for the civil rights victories that followed, and they continue to inspire movements such as Black Lives Matter, which fights to address the ongoing issues of police brutality, racial inequality, and the marginalization of black people. Today, as we look back on the legacies of leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., Harriet Tubman, and Malcolm X, we are reminded that the fight for justice is far from over. While progress has been made, there is still much work to be done to achieve equality for all. The leadership and vision of these figures serve as an enduring reminder of the power of courage, conviction, and activism in the pursuit of a more just world. Black excellence in science and technology, revolutionizing the modern world. Highlight the remarkable achievements of black scientists, engineers, and innovators who have advanced modern technology, medicine, and scientific research. The history of scientific discovery and technological innovation is often told through the achievements of a select few, but the contributions of black scientists, engineers, and innovators are often overlooked. From revolutionary advancements in medicine to groundbreaking technology, black individuals have played pivotal roles in shaping the modern world. Despite facing systemic barriers and racial discrimination, these trailblazers have made indelible marks in their respective fields, changing lives and improving the quality of life for people around the world. The pioneers of medicine, healing, and innovation. In the field of medicine, black doctors and scientists have been instrumental in advancing healthcare practices that are still in use today. One such pioneer is Dr. Charles Drew, a groundbreaking medical researcher and surgeon who is best known for his work in blood transfusion and blood banking. Drew's discovery of a method for storing and processing blood plasma saved countless lives during World War II. His innovations in blood storage, which led to the development of modern blood banks, have revolutionized medical practices globally. Despite his profound contributions, Drew's work was not fully recognized during his time, and his name often remains underappreciated in mainstream medical history. Another influential figure in the medical field is Dr. Rebecca Lee Crumpler, the first African-American woman to earn a medical degree in the United States. After graduating from the New England Female Medical College in 1864, Dr. Crumpler went on to provide care for impoverished communities in Boston. She became a pioneer in both women's health care and African-American medicine, writing a book titled Book of Medical Discourse in 1883, which provided medical advice and insights for other women practitioners. Her legacy as a trailblazer in the medical profession laid the groundwork for future generations of Black women in healthcare. In addition to individual contributions, Dr. George Washington Carver revolutionized agriculture, improving the livelihoods of farmers with his agricultural innovations. Carver's work focused on sustainable farming practices, crop rotation, and creating new uses for crops like peanuts, sweet potatoes, and soybeans. His research not only enriched the economy of the South, but also made agriculture more environmentally sustainable, proving that innovation could come from the land itself. His inventions included everything from cosmetics to rubber substitutes, making him a multifaceted innovator whose contributions extended far beyond agriculture. Breaking barriers in engineering and technology. When it comes to engineering and technology, Black inventors and engineers have played an essential role in the development of modern innovations that we often take for granted. Garrett Morgan is one such inventor whose contributions changed the way we navigate the world. Morgan is credited with inventing the traffic signal in 1923, a crucial development that helped organize traffic flow and prevent accidents, saving countless lives. Morgan also invented a safety hood, the precursor to modern gas mask, which proved vital during World War I, where it was used to protect soldiers from toxic gas attacks. Morgan's ingenuity in both fields demonstrated the power of practical invention in improving everyday life. Another major figure in engineering is Elijah McCoy, whose work in steam engine lubrication led to the creation of the real McCoy, a term that originated from his invention of the automatic lubricating device used in locomotives and other machinery. McCoy's invention greatly improved the efficiency and reliability of steam engines, cementing his legacy as an engineer who revolutionized the transportation and industrial sectors. Today, his name is synonymous with quality, as the term real McCoy is often used to describe something that is authentic and of high quality. Perhaps one of the most influential figures in the realm of aerospace technology is Dr. Mae Jemison, the first African-American woman to travel to space. Jemison's journey to space aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour in 1992 made history, and she remains a powerful symbol of Black excellence in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM. Beyond her time in space, Jemison is a staunch advocate for STEM education and continues to inspire future generations of scientists, engineers, and innovators, especially women and people of color, to pursue careers in these fields, revolutionizing the world of computing and innovation. In the field of computing and technology, Black innovators have played crucial roles in the development of the digital world. Mark Dean, an engineer at IBM, was integral in the creation of the personal computer and holds several patents related to its design. As the lead engineer on the development of the first IBM personal computer, Dean's work laid the foundation for the technology that powers our homes, workplaces, and mobile devices today. His innovations have had a profound impact on how we interact with technology daily. Another significant figure is Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson, a theoretical physicist who became the first African-American woman to earn a doctorate from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. Dr. Jackson's groundbreaking work in telecommunications led to key advancements, including the development of call waiting, caller ID, and the portable fax machine. Her contributions to the field of telecommunications revolutionized the way we communicate with one another and made her a pioneering figure in the world of science and technology. Additionally, Dr. Marie Nard-Daly, the first African-American woman to earn a Ph.D. in chemistry in the United States, made significant contributions to the understanding of the chemistry of the human body. Her work in biochemistry led to groundbreaking research in hypertension, the role of cholesterol in cardiovascular disease, and how diet impacts overall health. Dr. Daly's research laid the groundwork for future studies in medical and nutritional science, making her an influential figure in both science and public health. A legacy of innovation and inspiration. The achievements of Black scientists, engineers, and innovators have had a profound and lasting impact on the world. Their contributions have transformed industries, saved lives, and shaped the modern world we live in today. From medical advancements that have improved global health to technological innovations that have transformed communication and computing, Black excellence in science and technology is woven into the fabric of modern life. Yet these individuals often faced immense challenges, including racism, systemic discrimination, and limited access to education and resources. Despite these barriers, their perseverance and vision have led to breakthroughs that continue to benefit us all. The achievements of these innovators are not just historical footnotes. They are a testament to the power of human ingenuity and the ongoing struggle for equality, opportunity, and recognition in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM. Today, the work of Black scientists and engineers continues to inspire and empower the next generation of innovators. As more people of color enter STEM fields, the potential for new discoveries and breakthroughs exponentially. The legacy of Black excellence in science and technology is far from over, and it will continue to shape the future of our world for generations to come.